congratulations to both of us for making it here, and I can't wait to see where this
Besides
conversation goes.
technical
Because
difficulties aside, but yes.
yeah, we'll talk about those because I always tell you this, and this is an example, right? You don't interact with energy that isn't compatible with yours, and so whatever this is right now, that's supposed to happen. Like I know it sucks. I hear you. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying
Yeah.
it's got meaning. The other day I was here and sleeping. It was the other morning, and my fire alarm went off, and I was like, "What? Is it work?
Hold on.
Does
Hold
you did it?
fuck on.
A little positive energy goes a long way, huh?"
What? Wait. Fuck. Hold on. That's so crazy because it's just.
I hope it works.
I'm dead.
It did it.
Oh, it's. I think.
Okay. Record something real
It's
quick.
okay. It's okay.
It's got a digital playback, right?
My chain just fell off. This is so funny. Yo. Oh my god. Life is so funny and strange and weird. What the hell is it?
That's I'm sorry. That's just and now you're cracking out. Yeah, now you cracked out. You went. Oh my god.
That is so strange. I'm sorry. Keep going. I'm taking away from the show. Keep going.
No, not at all. This is
God.
This is all the show is. We're just going to be talking to each other about things we already know until we decide to stop.
Right.
But
where
that's
did the chain go? It's not. This is so strange.
That's what I'm saying. That's what this is about, right there. That right there.
Is
What's
your
that? Okay, hold on. Take a second. Tell us what that necklace is.
So it's it was this cool necklace. I was going to my friend's wedding in Auburn, actually. And
where's Auburn?
Alabama. It's a university too. Auburn University is like one of the biggest universities in I think in America. Could be wrong. Didn't fact check that. But so I asked my aunt for like some cool like jewelry pieces that she had, and she gave me this like pendant. If I can find it, I will. It's right there. I slick want to just grab it, but it is like this silver thing. And I was like, all right, auntie, when I come back, I'm gonna give it back to you. And I just never gave it back to her. And now it's just, I think it's gonna be a part of the brand now. Can't lie, because I'm gonna wear it. I was wearing it for a few seconds, then it broke. Well, not broke, it fell off. And then I'm gonna wear it for my interview Sunday.
Nice.
So I think it might become a part of the brand. Like whenever you see me, I'm just wearing just this silly little pendant. And then you'll be like, oh my God, you see me in public, you'll be like, oh my God, is that whoopty whoopty? Yes, it is. So
I love that for you. A landmark, so to speak.
Yes. It's like my fedoras back in the day when I used to wear them, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna grab mine because I feel like I have to now.
Uh-oh.
I got my stuff.
Band for band. Hilarious.
Yeah, I was gonna do it. But I wasn't gonna do it, but I saw it like right before we came on. I was like, oh, I should put this on. I should.
Oh, lovely. Like, I love that.
No, don't
cool.
do it. That's so you don't need to do that. You're not even gonna be on camera. And I was like, it's not for the camera anyways.
Right, like it has meaning, it has purpose. Yeah.
Let me see. I'm gonna try to tilt this camera a little bit. I don't know why.
I found it. It's right here.
Here
we go. Yeah.
Oh, it's bejeweled. Nice.
Yeah.
How many carats is that?
Carats is crazy. Carats is can't lie to you. That's not what this is. It's just to look nice. Carats, buddy. Let's be fair.
With a K. Yeah. Well, I saw like what I mean. Each one would be a carat, right? Probably. So like that's what like 30 carats.
Sure. Whatever.
It sounds like you're fucking swimming in it.
Don't play with me. Hold on. I hate chains because you have to hook them on, you know. Yours is so cool because you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You just throw it on.
It slides. It just, hold on. You just literally pull it.
Are we back? We are back. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's go.
Well, with all that being said, welcome to today's show. Thank you all for joining us around this
longest
proverbial
intro on
campfire.
Planet Earth. Longest intro on Earth.
Wait, you didn't like the 13-minute, 33-second intro? You didn't like that? That's okay. We're gonna be here for a while, man. We're just hanging out. Well, actually, real quick, what's your time window look like? I'm good for the day.
You good for the day?
Yeah, because I'm doing the community meditation after this, but
right. I'd like to get off in like 2 hours. Nothing too crazy.
Oh, we'll be good. Yeah, 2 hours.
Definitely.
We'll take it. We might even be done by then. I always live to eat those words, but
right, I do too. I do too. I literally for my interviews, I'll be like, okay, we're gonna be here for like 40 minutes. Interview turns it's like an hour 30, 2 hours, or like something crazy like that. It's so funny. It's so funny. But you can't predict.
But I don't care though, and I'm a menace because of that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I'm kind of a menace in that situation because I'm like, I will literally talk you into sleep if you want to talk. Like as long as you want to keep talking, I've talked you into sleep a couple of times, but like in almost like a super cute way. Like Josh is like, well, I'm so tired, I can't sleep, and I'm stressed out, and then I'm like, yeah, so we'll just have a conversation.
We'll just have a conversation, be knocked out.
Just talking to him, and just snores on the other side, like, oh shit, man.
It's so funny. I've like fallen asleep multiple times. I think me and just Jamie just like talking.
Yeah, that's a little better.
But it'll always be because I'm like stressed out, like with something, like extremely stressed out with something. So
yeah, you live a stressful life. I mean, we both do.
Yes, we do.
But also like what life is.
I feel like the older you get, right? I also feel, oh God. Let's not even talk about that. That's a whole nother episode in itself. Jesus.
Yeah.
But
we'll talk about it, but we got plenty of pain. It's easy.
Yes.
What were you saying?
Oh no. No, I'm just saying that, but life is stressful. I feel like life gets stressful the older you get because more responsibilities, like people have kids or like they get the job they want or like their dreams come true, things happen.
Sorry, my cat's been cleaned. G. Firefly's ready. Okay. Thank you.
Hilarious.
I took my girl to a spa day.
That's so cool.
When I got here, I was like, listen here, little baby. I'm going to take you to the doctor and I'm going to get you a bath. But she also, it has like a winter coat and it's not fully shedded yet. And I think she needs some help with it because she's not around other cats. She doesn't have that social behavior. She's around humans, which, yes, life is very challenging. We're going to talk about a lot of it today because we're going to talk about us.
Yes.
They called saying they were done. You could call them back. Tell them that you'd be on your way. You want me to call them? You want me to call them? You want me to call them live on TV? No, it's good. I can call. I just tell them that we're on our way. Well, not live, but recording. Yeah. No, it's okay. I was yelling at you on the show, so it doesn't matter.
Talking about fixing your mind.
Oh no, we've been chilling for almost 20 minutes now. Can you bring me some water before you go? Just like the container. Thanks. Oh, Josh is drinking up too.
Yeah, I
guess we're on a wave, huh?
Yeah, you have to.
Okay, we're gonna talk about life. We're gonna actually drink a lot of water today. It's gonna be water of the mind. It's gonna be awesome. And
I can't wait.
I just, I'm happy with the tone that's been set with the show so far because this is the kind of like legitimate, just free flow I was thinking because I don't have questions like that. Like we'll bring stuff up and just see where it goes because we're two trees talking and we got our own systems going on, but it's always fun to see when they overlap because we always like your necklace fall, like all that stuff. Like that's just what happens. Like like even when I was talking about the May 4th, us finishing your first generation meditation system and all that, like we remember when we did the math, like 2 weeks out, and I was like, yeah, it's going to end on May 4th. It's going to be awesome. And it was like exactly as it was like directly in the middle of meeting you and being friends with you. And we did the math on both sides. And it was like, there was a crazy number correlation. It's like that kind of stuff happens like all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's so cool finding the patterns.
Oh yeah. I feel like we are always talking to each other in ways that we understand and we don't. Meaning like we know what's going on, but also like it always unfolds differently in time. Like you and I will have conversations, have had conversations where like we have it, 6 months passes, a year passes, now 2 or 3 years passes, and any variation in between there. And it's like, wait, you just did something and you did that on this day. And now it's like a whole thing. Like, what do you see there? And then you're like, wait, what the fuck? That's crazy. And then you project back into it. And you see like a million correlations and you bring them to the table. And I'm like, wait, that happened. And it's like, all of a sudden we live like almost like parallel mirror lives, but like in our own dimensions, like the way that the energy could access you, access me is the same thing. So it's like, it's amazing. But yeah, so this is what it is. This is the talk show. Josh is our this is the void. It's very colorful and vivid and lively. And I'm excited to have Josh here. Josh is a lot of things to me. I found myself saying big brother energy the other day to him. And I thought that was a cool evolution of our relationship because, this is a trivia question. When was our interview, Josh?
It was
May. I don't know. I don't remember.
May. I remember it was in May. I think it was like early May.
Let's check.
Early May.
Time is hard. We're gonna check. What do you say?
Time is hard. Nah, I'm curious because when I posted, okay.
Yeah, probably at the summit. Yeah, I could just look up the video, right? But
if you look up the video, right? Like if you look up the video, I think.
But that was also a little adjusted. You didn't do that immediately.
Yes, because I remember this too. The struggle of getting your interview up must be studied. It was so incredibly stressful. I think I still have the note where I had to tell people that, hey, I'm sorry it's taking so long. Like my Android, like, because storage kept running out, and then like when that storage ran out, it was messed up. And then editing on iMovie has always been a struggle.
Yeah, you even had to outsource it for a second. There was a point where you were like, somebody please do this for me. This is driving me insane.
It was so damn stressful and annoying and aggravating and all those wonderful adjectives and words and grammar. But it's finally up, and I think that's my most watched. I think that's my most watched single interview. I have clips that have gotten pretty up there, because this Jamie Bennington interview, May 7th, 2020. So I would have had to interview you like either early May or late April. When it actually happened.
You know what? I'm gonna check my phone calendar real quick and see if I have the schedule.
That'd be so fucking funny. I would literally laugh right now if you still 10.3k views. People still comment on it to this day. I just saw a funny comment. They were like, this is bringing back memories, dude.
Well, you also, your visibility increased though too, because I put you on my YouTube finally. Like I figured out how to make playlists. I didn't know you could do that like that. And so when I made the time capsule, I put you in there.
So funny.
So it goes straight to you now. Before I had asked like, can I have the interview so I can have it on my channel? Cause like people don't really like pay attention to it, but I didn't. I thought I could I had added you to the, what is it? The featured list. Like if you go to my YouTube, you can directly access your YouTube. It's in my featured, like linked accounts, like people that I support or whatever. They could always have done that, but I didn't know the video itself could be on a playlist on my YouTube channel. So when I figured that out, I went and deleted it and put you up there. So you might actually be getting like brand new traffic, which would be
That's so fun.
very cool. I mean, especially because like what a disconnect. Like even the disconnect I've had socially is well embodied in that example of our interaction. Like me taking my interviews and putting them on as separate files onto my own YouTube. Like just the disconnect between my knowledge of the tools that I have, at my disposal and how they work and how I felt I was able to interact with what I had to say. Like so crazy. Like if I had researched it, I could have given you visibility like so much further or so much earlier. You know what I mean? But I was so nervous and I didn't understand what was going on. And I had to like watch every single fucking thing that I did. I also felt like people weren't interested. So it was like, now that I'm making people interested, now that I'm like, oh, I know what energy I'm bringing to the table. Let me bring it. It's a different thing. And I'm like, this is better for everybody. Like, and then now we're having our interview. It's fucking awesome. Oh yeah. And by the way, this is like a super meta situation because the reason I brought up and what year was it? It was 2019?
2020.
2020 May.
Because I interviewed you for the Amends album.
I just cleaned out all of my calendars and reorganized them. So I don't have it. I was like, I don't need this energy anymore. No, but it had to have been like late April.
Yeah, it had to be.
Because there was a lot going on. And that was a wild time in my life. But that's the kind of energy I was trying to like filter out. So, because I hold on to things, especially like digital records. Like
same.
I'm always like improving upon them and then like leaving the previous versions behind. So I could typically, before I clean this out, I could go back to May 5th, 2020 and like see our actual scheduling. But I think I had to like let it go.
Yeah.
But I also have it in my timelines. So like it is actually there somewhere. All of that information is like in the timelines. So if you really want to know, I'll go look it up for you. I'll go to the archive. And look through
I still have the original post up, so I could just like scroll back and see. I still have all of my original stuff up. That's crazy. It's so interesting.
Yeah. What were we? How did we meet? What's going on? Like,
well, I interviewed you because I saw that you were involved with the Amends project for Grade A's, and I was so excited. And I saw that you were on it, and I was like, oh my God, that's Chester's son. So let me try and whoopty. And we talked, and the interview was like it wasn't 2 hours, was it? It's like an hour, right? No, I'm curious.
It's long, bro.
It's hour 30. It's hour 30. Yes, damn near 2 hours.
It's not the longest, but it's long.
The longest you've ever done is 3 hours, so you're a bit short.
Yeah. Well, we'll see when we're done here.
Yeah. But then from there, we just kind of there was a period where we didn't talk. Like we talked a little bit after the interview, but then there was a period where we just stopped talking. And I don't know if I reached back out to you or you reached back out to me. I can't remember. I'm trying to.
I remember because that's a whole. We'll dive into that.
Yeah, you were like doing this whole forest thing, and I called you, and you were like in the forest or something, and you were like, oh yeah, whoopty, and all this fun stuff. I was like, oh okay, and then we rekindled from there, and I want to say that was like,
well, you blacked out during that one.
No, I want to say it was like middle 2021. In March. I think it was in March that we started talking in 2021 again, and then we just kind of the whole friendship started from there. Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. I always had a lot of respect for you, and I wanted to support you, but I also knew that you had come from. And excuse me if this is just like not the word you would use, but it's the word I've used, and I've used it recently, so maybe it's good for me to circle back on it. there's a fanatical energy, because I remember when we first met, almost like 90% of our conversations that weren't the interview or like trying to get to know each other were about Linkin Park.
Linkin Park, yeah, get Linkin Park.
And I was just like, bro, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I love you. I love your enthusiasm, like totally. But like even when you would go do things for yourself, it would somehow end up like circling back to that at the time. Okay. And this is
Right.
actually this is a beautiful moment for us right now, because we haven't had this moment. I'm realizing now the significance of this point. You know, I didn't know anything about your loss. I didn't know anything about your situation. I didn't know, and we could talk about it if you like to, but I won't go further into it unless you want to.
No, open book. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, you just add things where you want to. But you know, I didn't know that you had suffered a loss similar to mine. Not the same, similar. And I was really touched by your perception on it, your experience with it. I don't know if you talked about it before, so I understand
We can
if you
talk
don't
about
want
it
to
now.
talk about it, but your experience was like real serious, like severe. It was a very intense experience. And I say severe because I don't want to give it an emotional label for you, because it's not bad or good or anything like that. It's just intense. And when I met you, you were still in the like reeling from that experience. And
I would say, yeah, 2020. It's so interesting. Nostalgia is so funny and weird, because 2020 was such a weird time. So my father passed late 2019. Yeah, golly, that's crazy. Because now I'm looking at the connections and seeing them. What we talking about, man? Just seeing like how it all connects and where it all goes. I'm seeing that. Yeah, I was in. It was a pretty tumultuous time. Because my father was also an artist, and he was so supportive of all of my art. And
I saw that freestyle you put up. That freestyle you put up the other
freestyle.
day. You were like, it's just a silly track, like whatever.
Yes.
I was like, oh shit, he's with his dad. That's sick as fuck.
Okay,
I never heard that until like a couple days ago.
The song is called Joshua Mode, and it's sicko mode. Literally, we're just freestyling bars from when I was in high school, dealing with friends and stuff, and high school stuff. And I remember wanting to get into music. I had released like few trash EPs. If you go on my SoundCloud, you can still find them from like 2017. Yeah, from 2017, 2018.
Yeah, I'm reposting your shit.
So bad. It's so lame. It auto-tuned the hell out of everything. Oh my god. But
did you feel good?
I felt great doing it. I was like, okay, here's the music,
that's all that matters. As long as you felt good, as long as it was, as long as it quenched your thirst, that's all that matters.
Absolutely. And the time it definitely did. And so I went to my dad. I was like, I'm gonna do parody of Sicko Mode for some reason, because that was the song. Is either Sicko Mode or Mo Bamba was like the big song of 2018. And I
don't know if I heard that one. Mo Bamba. Who's that by? Is that the artist?
That's by Shaq West. That's by Shaq West. It goes,
I don't know them either.
I got hoes calling. You never heard that song?
Maybe.
You had to. That song was everywhere. Had to. 2018.
I say,
think about it. Mid 2018.
2018.
Yeah. What were you doing in 2018?
See,
you probably in
time
college,
was hard
right?
for me.
You were in college.
I just graduated college, and I was doing a lot. I think most of 18 was living in LA for a year.
Okay. Yeah. So
that like a year and a half.
But I went to my dad and I was like, I want to make a professional track, because the problem with my SoundCloud stuff, it was made very poorly. And I wasn't able to do nothing with it until I asked him, and we did this parody, and he was like, all right, Josh, send me the raw instrumental Sicko Mode. I sent it to him, and we just went crazy. And he put like effects and like auto-tune. And I'm like, yo, because the thing about my dad was like, whenever he did music, it would shake the house. Like I would just come from, and the bass would just
of course it felt good for you. Of course he did,
Yes, like
because
it was
he knows
such
he knew how it felt. That's what the music's the feeling.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
such a
yeah, yeah.
surreal feeling. So to
I love
able to
that
do
for
that
you.
with him, wish we could have done it more, but I'm grateful we got to do it for that one song. So yeah, but that was a
Yeah,
ton of
I was
fun.
tripping. I heard it. I was like, "That's what I've," because I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
seen you. I've seen you younger, like in videos and stuff like that, but like I haven't even heard your EPs yet, which is like a total slacker on my part. I'm so sorry. I'm
You
gonna listen
didn't
to those,
no one knows it. The funny thing
but
is
I do.
if you did not know me in high
Yeah.
school, high school era, I literally, oh man, this is why I love interviews, because I could just yap about like high school era,
Yeah, you go
middle
anywhere.
school era. It was so crazy. I'm still looking at my old Snapchats from like high school Snapchat era, like just my God, just me in it. Like that was so crazy. That was a time. That was a time, man.
Well, let's make a time frame here. Let's go ahead
Okay.
and set some boundaries, because you know we're a little far off where we started, but it is relevant. Right? So in terms
Yeah.
of time, when did your father pass?
October of 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Okay, and so oh, so that was like, because Amends came out in like what, July?
Holy yeah, like June, July.
July,
I think you were
July.
the last interview I did before the album came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were. Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
What was I?
You were?
Because you already talked to everybody. You talked to Sean
I
and
talked to
Mason.
May. No, I didn't talk to Sean until
Not
later
Sean.
after the album. Yeah, that took
Oh,
a
really?
minute. Yeah, it took a minute because
I
Sean
didn't.
originally didn't want to do it like at all, but I just kept.
Was the other one Kristen?
Yeah, when Mace, Kristen, you, and
Yeah.
then Sean like months later, because
Okay.
he in the interview he was like, oh. I didn't want to do it, but you were persistent on and stuff like that. I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, that leads me back to the beginning of our conversation. You're talking about certain conversations that you might have in an interview that have subliminal, implicit meanings. I love that. I love that attitude. Go, well, I'm here now because you just really pushed my button too many times. And it's like, what? Then don't be here, homie. What are you trying to do? But at the time, also, you were literally you didn't exist yet.
I didn't. The thing about it's so interesting to when I was talking about like eras and stuff, because when I first started, it was just like very much like you said, like fan Linkin Park, and just like like not really finding myself and trying to. That my interviews have gone, because originally my interviews were supposed to be music only, like only musicians. But obviously now it's like voice actors and It's progressed and progressed.
I know. I remember those conversations you used to have about like you would even talk about like Mike Shinoda, like trying to get interviews with like people in Linkin Park and stuff like that, and how hard it was. Yeah, but like there are so many like I remember telling you, like you were upset. You were like, all these fucking musicians are so rude, and like they're always, or just like you had a lot of trouble with management. Really, it wasn't the musicians. It's like
it's always
you had that middleman,
and it's so unfortunate, and that's why like a lot of the times, sometimes I'll ask like
check the car. Sorry, hold on 1 second. Here, just take mine. You're an insured driver. You have my wallet. They should literally not give a fuck. But if they do, which they usually find a reason to, give me a call. It's okay. Thank you. I'm sorry you can't find it. I appreciate you helping. So Josh and I can hang. Sorry, they were still looking for their wallet. They couldn't find it. They can't drive without it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But you were saying about your eras.
My eras, yeah. So like, it's funny.
No. Sorry. We were actually talking about talking to management about artists.
Yeah, management. Yeah, how management.
I had to tell you to like shift your gears a little bit, because I knew from my life experience, like just growing up, but also, being a musician myself and trying to like get that college education, get into the industry, all these things. That's why I went to LA, was to get into the industry. It didn't even work. And, it's just like, I knew a little bit about that sass you were talking about. And I was
Mhm.
like, I don't think you should talk to musicians. That's why I said, I was like, I don't think you should go to the music industry. And you're like, no, but there are so many people I know, I understand. Trust me, I get it. And some of these people will talk to you. You've gotten people to talk to you, but like, how many more actors over musicians have chosen to speak to you? Like, it's a
Holy
whole different industry
yes.
conversation. It's not even industry, but industry conversation, because there is a different expectation for social conduct. And also there's a different need for marketing and things like that. Like networking is a
Mhm.
bigger deal almost, I feel like, because musicians, they get a label, and then, say it's like Warner Music Group or something like that. They pay for marketing, they pay for interaction, they pay for the shows, they pay for everything. So
Mhm.
you're really with a donor that's willing to put money behind you to get something done, get you that visibility. But voice actors, it's not really like that. And you were even, what's been interesting for me, I know I'm kind of time jumping here too, but watching you explain to me talk about the talk around NFTs and AI art and all these things. Like when Lost came out, we talked about the AI generated music video and how interesting that was. And we also clowned on Mike a little bit for his NFT pushing and things like that. Like it was just, and all of this isn't, spectacle fun. We're spectating. We're over here like talking about the thing that we're observing and experiencing on different levels. So it's not, none of this is meant to be a diss or a dig or anything like that. It's
Right.
just an acknowledgement of our experiences. And
Right.
so, in saying that, it's not saying anything about Mike or Sean or anybody. We're just saying we had interactions with these things.
Right.
I just want to clarify, because I am pointed on my Instagram. When I go talk live, I do say some shit, but that's not what's being said here. Josh is just Josh. Josh is just talking about Josh, and I'm just hanging out with Josh because he's my really good friend, brother energy, like I said. And so, really, we met at a time where you were, and this goes back to the Arrows conversation. You're looking like T Swift over here. You got this, you got all these eras that we're touring right now. And what's interesting about that is, like, just in broad strokes, I've watched you go from this. I know you're still like stressed out and like anxious and things like that, but I've watched you go from this, like, almost like, I don't want to say one tone in a mean way, but like you can hold so much more life now than when I met you. Like you were very fixed. I would
I
say
agree.
fixation is a good word. Like,
Yes.
cause I felt that shit. Like I was like, I'm huge on fixation. Like I fixate like nobody's fucking business. I've had to work really hard to undo some of that, like loosen up a little bit. And part of that has been our relationship in meditation and me mentoring you through my process, which is such a cool thing to be able to say out loud. Like I had a friend who was willing to use my experimental process on themselves. And that's just amazing. But you also went through that process from being like someone who is very fixated on certain things, but now is able to acknowledge the fixation, see what you could do for yourself, and even try. Like I've seen you do such beautiful, amazing fucking things. And it's been such an honor to watch. But also on top of that, I've seen you literally grow as a human being. I've watched you struggle with building your own brand, your own business, your own interface for the things that you want in life. And that's been amazing. But even more than that, like we got through some insane actual real world events together, like COVID, presidential
Mhm.
elections,
About to do that again.
riots in the Capitol, fucking, you've had some insane experiences where I've even had to tell you, like, Josh, like we're only a couple years distance from each other, but like this isn't normal.
Yeah.
Like I know you feel this way about your career, but you're literally 19. You're still literally a baby. I'm still a baby. I'm literally 23. Like, I'm going
How it
24.
is.
Like,
Yeah.
we're just babies. That's it. And that's why I still call myself a kid too. But, I want to acknowledge those broad strokes just in case we don't end up getting back to them in the way that would be so obvious, because we've experienced a lot of life together, like a
Absolutely.
lot. And we pushed each other to some pretty experimental places, and that takes a lot of trust. Just not even in terms of the process of my, like, you taking on my meditation process, but like, actually taking the risk to try to invest in your audience. Taking the risk to like represent yourself. Like seeing you at MomoCon this year was like, what the fuck? Like that's so
How do you
talk
think
about
I
beautiful
felt?
things. Like, oh my, I know that's what I'm saying. It's like but like what's crazy is like you it feels like because we know each other, we're able to take things a little more deeply when they come. And like watching you talk with Steve on the stage, like you're walking away and he's like, no, come here. Tell him who you are. It's like, oh my God, that's so fucking beautiful. And like, not only is it beautiful because it happened, but it's beautiful because you got up and you didn't stutter. You didn't sweat it. You did like you got up, you're like, yeah, I'm Josh Morales and I run this. And but
Yeah.
the fucking gravity of what you said right there is insane because I remember talking to you. This is going back to our early relationship, like leave the artist alone. Don't go to the musicians because they're all it's not egomaniac because it's not always them either. Like I went to the management. It's management too. Management will just straight up lie in your face. If they think that you're not viable for their asset, they will literally just spit in your face. They'll be like, oh, you want to talk to this person? Well, I don't think you're valuable, so fuck off. And it's like, they won't say it like that because, you know, who would? But I know some people who would. But
Yeah.
some people who might have done it recently. But with that being said, you know, they say it in implicit, you know, coded ways. And you go, damn, I feel slighted. And they're like, well, don't. You're taking it personally. You're like, oh shit, maybe there's something wrong with me. And it's like,
There's this one
wait,
time I was
no.
There's this
Yeah,
one time
good.
I was going to interview a voice actor, and their agent was like, "It will cost you $2,000 to interview this voice actor." And I said, "I'm not paying that." I didn't say it like that, but I was like, that's
Yeah.
a lot." I
Yeah.
said it to them like this.
Wait, did
That's
they know who
a
you were?
no. I don't
Like, did
think so.
they didn't take into account your actual means and your viability?
No, I don't think they
They were
care.
like, they were just like flat $2,000 rate to anybody.
Yeah, $2,000,
That sounds like
and
pimping, but I might be
that
wrong
was
about that.
that was a lot. So I asked, what would $2,000 get me? Like, do
That's
I
okay.
get whatever amount of time on them or da da da? $2,000 is really a lot for a college student who's helping his family. So I could pay like $500 is the most I could pay to get this happening. But two
Dude,
thousand
you
dollars
fucking
is just too steep right now. And they
that's a
said to
wild
me,
haggle.
yeah,
That's
but
a
they
wild
said
haggle. You were like 500. You still bought it.
no, I didn't because they said actually that's not going to happen. Come back to me. They said come back to me when you're not broke. Bless you. God bless you.
No, wait. Like, how close to the actual wording was that? That
It's
recollection.
it was pretty close on. They were like,
Oh man.
I think I still have
Ouch.
the original email. They were like,
Whoa.
sorry you can't afford it. Come back to us when you have more money.
That's
I was
such a
like, okay.
fucked up thing to say to someone.
Yeah, so I'll
Like how
never.
to tell someone they're only worth something. Only so
Yeah,
much.
and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't have it right now. And they
Wow.
were like, oh well, sorry, brokey. Go come back another day. I'm not coming back to you ever again. Fuck you. I'm not coming back
Yeah.
because
You put the
now
foot in the door because it's polite, but really in reality, it's like I would never look at you again. Like, what the fuck are you
yeah,
talking about?
yeah, no,
What was that?
that was the final straw, but it is unfortunate how crappy management could be sometimes, especially when you're just trying to have a friendly dialogue. Sometimes they have a mean tone in their voice, and sometimes they look at numbers a lot. And I think that's sometimes why I hyper fixate on my numbers or who's looking or who's watching or
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that, because it's like they're always like, oh, do you have 15K followers? Could you help push my da 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 da? And it's like, well, no, I don't have that, but I do have this many years of experience and I have these many connections. Like, can this get me anything? And then sometimes it'll be like, absolutely not. Fuck you. You're not big enough. Or sometimes it'll be like, yeah, I'll send your email. And then it'll be up to the artist, and sometimes the artist doesn't get back, which is fine. Life is busy. I'm not as pressed about it as much as I used to be, because it's like I'm more than my interviews now. You know, like I have so much stuff I'm working on. And
bro, wait, we should take a second right there. You got that on camera. Josh, you got it on camera. You just said that shit. Like a year ago, you were like, I couldn't even think of saying that out loud. I want it. You just said you had it. Bro. Wait, I'm gonna take a moment to breathe right there. That's really cool. I got to look you in the face when you said it too. I didn't get to just hear you over the phone.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah. It's something I've always said to myself. I've never wanted to be the just solely interview guy, but it just happened by the nature of working. But you know, just to see how much more I am than my art in real time has been very surreal and really cool. To see that is just, it's so, I love it. I love it. Like you said, like we've been talking about earlier, just seeing the patterns and how they correlate with one another. Like that's just so cool and so rewarding. That's just cool. Yeah.
Yeah, there are things you're working on that I don't know anything about really. I know some of it, like you've given me like the theoretical breakdown, but like in actuality we live on different coasts. So I have not, we've been friends since the interview, because I never left you alone. Like we had a period where we didn't talk and I had to grapple with some feelings, which we'll go back to that in a moment, because that's where we were at in the timeline. But yeah, we've never met in person, like ever. Like by the time that we meet, we will have
later this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was hard work, but it's all worth it. You know, I'm excited that I get to see you after such perseverance. There you go.
Yeah.
I had to find that.
Words.
We'll go back to the beginning, because we were in a time flow, and we definitely could stay there, because there's a lot to unpack about some of our experiences. And so I'd love to go back to where we were talking about that period of silence and that fixation, because I was fixated too. It wasn't just you. You know, I was in a process at that time of like very intense derealization and reorganization. And, you know, I was already looking into my memory loss. I was already looking into my what I now think is undiagnosed borderline personality disorder, potential neurodivergence, and other things like that. But that was like the identity part of that. Like I met G in September of 2019. So like there's a timeline right there. So Amends comes out in July. Then I meet G, and then your father passes, and we don't know each other. And then you're, you know, I think it's really important to state where all of your interviews started, because this is something that honestly, this is like where I say like, oh, we have things that we experience and we realize them through time, because you and we talked about your dad a lot, but I remember I was in Colorado, I believe, living on the road, like you said, in the forest.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was in the car because I was in the tent, and you had said, "Yeah, dude. Do you mind if I repeat what I heard you say?"
Yeah.
It'll be personal, and if you don't want it, I can cut it out too. So just let me know. But you had told me your experience in like watching your father die.
Yeah.
And that was I was like, Josh, it's been like 2-3 years at this point, like 2 years. You've never said that. Like I never knew that you were like, you watched him, like you made eye contact with him until he like passed. And you had been,
it wasn't like that. Like it was like that actually, because I remember actually, I'm trying to remember. So I come into the room, and my mom's like, we have to take you to the hospital. We have to take you to the hospital. And he was like, all right. And I leave, and I come back because I hear a thud. And he's like a seizure on the floor. And when that happens, we had to call the ambulance. The doctors get there. They put him on the strap, and Next thing you know, so
yeah. It was like super sudden and intense, and you were in proximity. And I remember, well, thank you for sharing that as well. Like, hearing it from you is nice too, because I don't want to be the one to like define your memories for you, you know? So I appreciate you being, you know, at least secure enough to say something, because that is a tough thing to bring up. And, no matter how much you move through it too, like still talking about Chester still is a thing for me, even though,
absolutely,
I'm okay with it, you know? So with that being said, like when you told me that, I was just like, I've known this guy for years, and this is the first time he's telling me this, but I've talked about it with him. Like, we've talked about this. It was like, for me, it was the equivalent of calling myself suicidal for like 5 years, but in words that I believed implied I wasn't. And so I wasn't. In reality, I was, and nobody around me was like, "Hey, you're saying you're suicidal." I had to like, not even my mental health friends. And then later I had to be like, "Oh, I'm saying that. Oh, wait, I had that conversation with this person. Wait, but none of you caught me. None of you said anything." And it's not resentment, I feel. It's like awe. It's like, wow.
yeah,
How? And
that
then,
realization,
you know, yeah. And I think that, you know, that was a similar moment for us, was like, we talked about it for so long, but we never talked about it. And then it was almost like this like level of interconnection was reached between the two of us, because you revealed to me in that moment, you were like, my dad was a Linkin Park fan. He liked Chester. And so when Grey Days came out with their album, I decided to try to interview the people in it, because I wanted to be closer to him, basically. And I know there are other elements to the bigger picture. Of course, it's not just one thing. It's not to say you did this all because, you know, you're grieving or something like that. It's to say that I didn't realize how personal the connection was that we actually had, just by relevance, positional relevance, worldly relevance. Like, you and I, we've never met, but we've spent countless years as like best friends.
yeah,
As in a mentorship type situation where like we're equals, but like, you know, I'm trying to teach a little bit, share a little bit, develop a little bit. Like, you've been so pivotal to so many of my isolated socializations, there you go, that it's almost impossible to say I'd be here without our relationship in many ways, because there is so much of my life that you agreed to take part in. Like, nobody else has gone through the process with me, in terms of my practice. Nobody else has done it, you know? Like, I have friends I've been friends with longer than you, who laugh at the idea of my meditations, but don't tell me to my face, you know? And it's like, huh. And then they say things, and you're like, oh, that's what you really think about what's going on over here. And so like, I got to acknowledge you on that level, but like, also I got to acknowledge you like as being like a goat in my life, as also being like the goat of your own life, because you took something that was really personal, and yes, of course, it was just an aspect of the bigger picture, but you took elements of your experience and used them to your advantage to put you in a position you want to see. And that all goes back to that moment when you told me, and it all goes back even further to the moment that we met. And so when we met, we were already like very connected without really knowing it. And because I was already on a socializing phase, like I was just finishing production on a chant. I wanted to do press. I wanted to network. But also I was doing Grey Days, and it was just like, that was a whole weird thing too. Cause like I was doing press for a band that I wasn't in, who did not include me on the track that they said they did. I mean, everybody go listen to Soul Song. I'm not on the fucking track, y'all. Go listen to it. It's all Chester, like for real. Maybe they mixed me down so low that I'm just tone deaf, but I listen to myself for a living, and I don't hear shit.
What?
I don't hear it. And I listen to music. Like, I listen to music. Like, Josh knows I'm a fucking brainiac about this shit.
Holy crap.
I don't hear it. And what's even more incredible is how many comments in the Soul Song music video go, "Who's that guy?" Who's the guy in the video? Why are we watching him? I can't wait for Chester. It's like, oh, I got almost 3 million views on YouTube and nobody knows my name, even though it says it on the music video. That's the kind of energy we're up against. Wow. That's the kind of energy we've been existing in. And so, you know, acknowledging all that, it's like, you know, in reality, I'm just showering you with praise right now because I don't get too often. It's not, I do when I can, you know, I never, you know it. I don't really skip things like that. I'm always like, that comes first. I'm going to fucking tell you how cool you are. But I'm also going to be firm with you if I need to, you know, like we've had some conversations where I've literally grabbed you like, Josh, pay attention. Josh, wake up. Like, bro, you're doing it again. Like the other day when I saw you on the post-traumatic 6-year anniversary vinyl reel on Instagram, you liked it. I came over, I was like, Josh, we don't like it. Well, sorry, you're right. But it's cool though. I'm like, I know. But that's how they get us. They get us with shiny shit. Don't listen to them, Josh. Wake up. It's okay. So it's like playful like that. It's always playful like that. But it's like, you know, that will make more sense when we talk about our relationship because we've really been very good for each other in terms of keeping each other focused and honest.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, like I feel like if I go left, you and go a little too left, you'll hit me up and be like, hey, in your own way, you'll be like, hey, you're like real left field right there. I'll be like, yeah. Oh, you're right. I need to center up, you know? And it's like, oh, hey, Josh, where you been? I haven't heard from you in a month. Oh, yeah, well, you know, and then I'm finding out things that I found out that happened 2 years ago that I was there for that I didn't know about. It's like, bro, but I understand. And you could talk about those things if you want to, but I'm not going to bring them up like that. That's your business. Right. You go where you want to go. Some of this stuff is definitely more like that's up to you. You do what you want, baby. I'll give you the fucking floor, but you got to let me know that's what you want because I'm not going to just blast certain things. But you know, with that being said, we go back to the beginning and we had this connection, and you interviewed me, and I remember saying on the interview, like, I will be friends with you.
I remember that too. Yeah,
I was like, I'm friends with everybody. Everybody I interview, everybody I am interviewed by, everybody I work with, we're like lifelong friends because I am that kind of guy. Now that's not true because those relationships are often filled with people who don't want that, but think they do in the moment. And that's not a diss. That's just a realization. You know, things change over time too. And a lot of times when people get the acid, when they realize how acid this can be, they're like, I don't know if I'm like literally able to withstand that environment or your energy for long periods of time. And so at that point, I had a lot of friends, like my DP for a chant, River Dempson. I was really close with Austin Gold, and who played sick in a chant. I was my now very good friend Branson. I was working on a music video for him. I had a lot of friends that like had to fall away and come back, or fall away forever, or not fall away. You're one of those guys that like in the beginning it kind of felt like maybe that was going to be it, which is probably why I was a little standoffish. But you were also younger, and I realized that, and I was like, you know, I want to be there to help him. Like I don't want him to go do this thing. Like, and I felt this way about everybody I interacted with, but with you specifically, I was just like, I see you, and I see how great you could be, and I see all the things that could stop you from doing that. And as I'm learning about myself, you are a mirror for that. You know, I always bring up Kendrick, and I don't mean to, but he's got so many fucking good lines. It's like, you know, he says, get yourself a mirror that mirrors grievance. And that's off Mr. Morale. And I was like, Josh is a mirror of my grievances. And you know what? It turned out truer and truer, because as it went on, he eventually told me about his dad and all that. And it's like, that never happened. Like we talked about it for years and never did I hear that story. But then all of a sudden it was there. Same thing. You know, that grievance takes time. You have to ease it to the surface. If I could count how many times we had a breakup because you were like, I want to go do my thing. And it's like, okay, but you could still be here. But I got a career. It's like, yeah, I know. And it's driving you insane. And I love that for you. And I love being here for you in that, because part of the building process is gaining the capacity to withstand that environment. And that environment, it's hard. You've dealt with we both, but you, and because I'm talking about you, you've dealt with like some fucking serious energy that is insane to deal with. Like mine's special because I have a celebrity dad that connected us, but yours is like, I tell you this all the time, don't I? I'm like, bro, you live in a unique life. Like I cannot understand a lot of the stuff you experience, because even though I do, and I get it, like I know, things, but like I'll never be a young black Josh in modern America trying to create a life for himself while facing bigotry and racism and exclusionary practices, and it's just fucking insane. And
as nostalgic as high school era was for me, that's also
there you go.
One of the most pivotal and trying times in my life. And I think 2021 to 2022 easily the worst period in my life, because I was not only graduating and trying to find who I am as a man, but I was dealing with the fallout from people I went to high school with. And
you mean graduating high school or college?
Graduating high school, right? Yeah. Graduating high school. I was dealing from the fallout of graduating and seeing where people were going and what they truly were about, or I cared about someone more than they cared about me, or because I'm black, I need to shut my mouth. Like, for instance, in 2021, I had posted something about Black Lives Matter on my Instagram. I want to say it was like a month or two before I graduated. I think it was in like late March, early April, or mid-April, something like that. And I go into school next day, going into school, going to the gym locker room, see the homie, say what's up. And as I'm coming out of the gym locker room, there's these two people. And what's fucked up is I knew these people. Both of them were my friends.
Yeah. And
I'm like, yo, what's going on? I go up to hug them, and I get pushed in the chest. I'm like,
yeah, I remember.
I'm like, nah, that ain't just happening. So I go up, I go and hug him again, and they push me in my chest. Now I'm pissed. I reel my hand. I go, whop, and I hit them in the shoulder, and he hits. I think he like tussles me, and I grab him, and I pull him out of the locker room, and then we just stop. I don't know why we stopped. I don't know. I genuinely think it was by the grace of God, because I didn't want to get kicked out of that school. I just want to graduate, that we didn't like keep going. He was like, you don't think white people go through shit, man? I'm gonna beat the shit out of you one day. All that. I'm like, yo, like, I'm like, dog, like, what are you talking about? Like, what? I never said any of that. What are you talking about? He's like, oh, the media always talks about what black people go through, and they don't talk about white people. I'm like, bro,
damn, he put that all on you? He put all of Fox News on you? That's fucked.
Yes, exactly that. He did that exact thing to me, and I'm trying to process my friend just trying to hit me, and then I'm trying to answer what he's talking about, and I'm overwhelmed. I'm overstimulated. All of this is overstimulating to me, so I'm trying to process all of that, and I'm just like, bro, what the? So messages like that, or like white people being like, hey, can I have the N-word pass, or N-word pass? And I'm like,
wait, hold on. I don't think you told me about that. Someone asked you?
Multiple people have, multiple. And like,
they just like, how does that happen? They just come up to you and they go,
they're like, yo, can I have the N-word pass? Or they'll be like, I can say the N-word. I have the N-word pass. I asked my black friend, and he said, I'm like,
okay, real talk, real quick, because I haven't been able to talk about this part of my history. I've been given the pass in the past.
That is so insane.
And I used it like once, and I said, that's the grossest fucking thing I've ever felt at that point, and I'm never saying it again. And then I said it one more time at myself on Instagram. You can go look. I was by myself commenting in my own comment section on a day that I literally wanted to kill myself, and I called myself that word. But I didn't mean it like that. It wasn't like a hard R or anything like that. But I was like playing, like, I don't know what was in my head. But sometimes I look back and I'm like, bro, you fucking wild. Like, you're wild. I don't know what the fuck you were on right there. But that was weird. But then I realized I'm like my entire bloodline is made up of debauchery. Like it's just all like incest, sexual assault, mental illness, fucking like it's all that. That's all my bloodline is. And it's challenging to accept that, but like sometimes you're going to get a little fucking Joe Dirt coming out your face and you're not going to realize that you got that going on. I'm just a kid from the street of Phoenix. Like the streets of Phoenix, like I've seen some fucking crazy shit. I've seen people talk to each other in a certain way, interact in a certain way. I've seen things. And I feel like it's so interesting when people come up and ask you shit like that, because even as a child, because I was in high school when this happened, when I was given the pass. And I was like, it was my buddy Avery, and everybody like looked at me weird too. They were like, because he was like, hey, you could say it. I didn't ask. He was like, you could, hey, you're my homie. You could say that. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, man, I don't care. Like, it's no big deal. I was like, I think it's a big, like, I feel like that's kind of like like, you don't want to say that. And yeah, I was like, I said it a couple times, maybe more than once. I imagine it would be. I was a kid, I'm just messing around or whatever, And then I went through a period of trying to rehabilitate my friends and family, because they don't say the word. They don't say things like that, but they do have, some people have classist, exclusionary practices, like for sure. It's kind of like well, are you worth $2,000 or not? Then get out of my face. Like that's kind of that vibe all the time. And let me see. I remember it was right before I met you. That was when it happened again. That's when I took my final stand and I said, no, you guys, this is not happening. Because I lived in Newport Beach with my aunt. I had my year in LA, and my best friend, Matt, who was supposed to make a chant with me and all these other things. I produced his novel on my website and things like that. We were just creative partners for a long time, and roommates and best friends. And he just like stopped talking to me and like abandoned me. He like left LA. He didn't say anything. He's never talked to me again. We were friends for like 5 years, and it was insane because I needed a place to go. I was like, well, I can't go back to Arizona. I don't really have anywhere to go. I'm not going back there. I want to go to LA, but LA is also like, that year in LA was like, oh my God, this place is scary and awful. And I see exactly what it's going to do to all the people that I interact with, including myself. I'm out of here, and I'm going to go prove to myself I can do by myself what this big old system over here is saying I can't do without them. And I did it, but it wasn't without its many struggles. That was like a 3-year-long process with the movie. But when I lived in Newport, I lived with my aunt because I needed somewhere to go. And like years prior, she had been like, if you ever, this was my Aunt Kim, and she was like, if you ever have a need for a place, like just hit me up. It's fine. And I was like, okay. Years later, I don't ask for help. So years later, I was like, hey, I'm literally homeless. Can I have a place to stay? And they were like, yes. And then I went and lived with my cousin Kyle, who I have a lot of love for. He's like a brother to me too, but I also got some pretty lame brothers. And just general. I'm not going to say brothers plural. I'm going to say, Isaiah, you suck. And that's it. And I wish that we could work it out, but I don't like how you hid my nephew from me. And that's not happy.
How family.
I don't want it. I'm just going to say it. I don't like how you hid my nephew from me. And you too, Elka. Yeah. This is me being pointed right now. I'll just identify it. I'm being pointed right now. Isaiah and Elka, I'm not happy with you for hiding my nephew from me because you want to call me crazy, but you don't want to do your own work. Anyways,
that's one thing that's aggravating. Like everyone like call you crazy when you're just like bringing up legitimate complaints and concerns. That's so aggravating.
Yeah.
That's
when I show up with receipts,
yeah,
they're all like, okay, but how much of a receipt is that receipt? It's like, what do you mean? It has the date, it has the information, it says where it came from and from who. Okay, well, yeah, I deal with that a lot. But I'm it's not a dig or a diss, it's just a fact. And at this time, I was a fact of my own opinion and my perspective. That is how I see things. And that can change, everybody. Be careful. Your thoughts can shift. I don't know if you're all aware of this. but minds evolve. And I was with Kyle, and he would say it all the time. Like, all the friends at the house, they're all white. They'll be like, beep, beep, hey, my beep. It's like, and then I found myself saying it sometimes. But then I was like, well, wait, I feel because you know what happens is when it's around you all the time, it populates your brain space.
Right.
And I'm not going to lie. This is not an endorsement of the word. If I ever hear this directed at anybody, I will fight you. Meaning like the word, right? Like, don't be saying that. There are people who can say it and there are people who can't. Okay. Facts. I'm saying that as someone who stims on sounds, being around people who said it a certain way, it got stuck in my head. And when I found myself slipping and not being able to hold the word in anymore or other words anyways, because I'm impressionable, I realized something. I was going to have to take a step and draw a line. Am I going to say this and just participate like a fucking asshole? Or am I going to use this as an opportunity to stop or change the culture? So I decided to join the police and try to change it from the inside. And I went to my cousin, and this is a futile attempt, of course, because the system is built the way it is for a reason. And I went to my cousin, and I would playfully use the word every once in a while, but I would use it in a way to say, please stop using it, or that why it wasn't okay. I would try to find a way to make it not fun, or at least educational.
Yeah, that was not gonna work. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was not.
No,
yeah.
it was a fucking awful thing. I shouldn't have put myself through it. And then guess what? By the time that I changed and I was able to actually express my real change, which was already happened. I just hadn't been able to materialize it yet. When I started making my movie and turning into this person that I wanted to be, much like what you do with yourself now, it's like it's the same path and different dimensions. I realized that I had confused like everybody around me. There was a lot of like, what the fuck, like not necessarily like resentment or anger or like people calling me out like at all. Like nobody ever calls me out, but unless they need something. But because I don't usually have things to get called out about, and these people are definitely not going to hold me accountable. And that's basically what the entire effort was to be accountable. And I realized that it wasn't going to work, that I had confused people, and that in doing so, I had impacted my own accountability in terms of its perception, but also I had to choose to leave the environment, which is what I did. I didn't stay there for very long. I was there for a couple of months, and then I was like, no, I literally can't be here. And I had met G. They were then Isabella.
Does he still say it?
I don't know. I don't know, because I've tried to talk to him about some of this stuff, and he's literally been like, you need to be careful. Like, don't talk about things unless you know them for sure. Like, this is really scary. Like, I don't want to be involved. And that's pretty much what most people say to me. Or that they don't believe me instead of just telling me the truth. They go, it's not real, instead of saying, no, it's really fucking scary and I don't want to do it. And so, some accountability there. I didn't think I was going to get all that out today, but hey, it's cool. It's good. It's good to be accountable because, someone's going to try to go and like look and see if there's any kind of fallibility to the integrity that is, this is the void. Try to go, well, if you're so open and you're so blah, then what's this? You use this and you talk. Yeah. I'm a
That's
crazy
just
white
life
kid
in
from
general,
Phoenix.
though. That's
I had to like learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was nothing I ever condoned. And I don't want to sound like I'm really harping on that because I want to be taken seriously or like seen as like an ally. I'm saying like legitimately, I thought I was helping. It wasn't helpful. And it hurt me as much as it confused everybody else. And, I think that people should not ask you that. To circle it back to the beginning of this point,
Yeah.
I think people should not say that to you. And I think that any white guy who comes up to you or, who doesn't qualify, they come up to you and they go, and say anything like that, there should just be like an instant shutdown.
Yeah,
like something so it should be like uncomfortable. Like, did I step on something? Like, yeah, you did, and it should be like that uncomfortable because I feel like people. Well, one, I'm from Phoenix. We have a Nazi headquarters there. I grew up around.
That's so crazy. That you know what's crazy? The craziest thing about modern day America is that Nazis are still able to proudly be around. The KKK is probably to still be around, and all these other organizations get to be around. But the key thing about that is that the reason these people are still around is because they are a part of the government. They work with the cops. They work with the police, right? Like they're a part
actually. Sorry. Wait. I shouldn't say duh because that's kind of condescending. There are people who genuinely don't believe.
And people who don't believe are stupid. But anyways, so
like they're dumb because it's real.
It is real. It is real. It's real. These connections have been proven, and it's so unfortunate. It's crazy. I just saw on Twitter a few days ago. This wasn't from a history book. This was from a few days ago. A cross burning, and it was people in Ku Klux Klan robes. This was recent.
Okay. And where are all the Christians now? Why are the Ku Klux Klan allowed to burn crosses, but they still Christian? I thought people who desecrate the body of Christ are meant to like perish. And I think that's something that maybe the Ku Klux Klan should do.
But life is full of hypocrisies and things that don't make sense. So but
I'm trying to find the thing real quick. There's you keep going. I'm looking at them.
But it's just so asinine and aggravating to see all these hate organizations be able to properly go up. But when people stand up for Palestine or the Congo or anything like that, we have to shut them down. They can't do that. We have to keep the Zionist entity alive. We have to keep.
What was that wonderful little fuckery that happened for a second where Instagram's it was Meta. It happened on Instagram. There was a Meta malfunction where they turned Palestinian to terrorists. And
something like they did something like that, and they also had an option where you could limit news posts or something so you didn't see any of that.
They gave you a filter so that you didn't have to see what you didn't want to see.
Yeah, you didn't see what the real world was.
So the Cold War's over, is it?
So it's just stuff like that. It boggles my mind, man. It boggles my mind that stuff like that is still allowed, like, and how Donald Trump is able to get up on stage and say all of these derogatory.
Right? He's like a convicted felon now. Correct? Yeah, and people still are like, what rules can we break to make him president? Correct? So none of you Americans gave a fuck that he lied on his business transactions? Never mind the other stuff that he did do that he did not get tried for. Just alone, the charges that Trump actually got, that wasn't enough for you.
Guilty on all counts. How are y'all?
On all accounts. That wasn't good enough.
So insane to me. And then we have Project 2025 going on where
I don't really actually know anything about that. I've heard about it.
That is so insane.
Inform the room. What is going on?
Project 2025 is basically reverting America back to it'll basically revert America back to like the 20s in terms of rights. It strips women's rights away from
the 1920s or the
like the 1920s. Like it would take us back. It would revert all the change we've made. And we're already seeing some of that, but from what I've read of Project 2025, the Department of Education, kiss that goodbye. That won't exist.
That's real?
That they would get rid of that. Like that just wouldn't exist. We're already seeing some of that where they're stopping the talking point of critical race theory. I get so fucking aggravated.
Let it out, Josh.
It's like it's like, how are we so dumb? Like, how do we allow these people to exist and like do these things and say these things and be? I just saw the Supreme Court basically outlaw
real quick. We don't. We
What
don't.
do you mean?
We don't support it. There are only like a couple thousand people who do. That you're asking, you're like, how, who? We don't. That's not our thought. That's not our alignment. That is not our decision. And that's why I always get caught up on elections too. Like real quick, I get caught up on elections because it's like, what the fuck am I even, guys? During the Trump election, hundreds of thousands of ballots appeared out of fucking nowhere.
Jesus.
Period. And y'all want to act like it didn't happen. Then we got to choose between fucking Biden and Trump. Are you kidding me? This Biden dude is like a fucking mess. It's worse than Trump because he's the other side of the coin. Trump is the one that pokes you in the eye and makes you realize that he's there, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck with you because I can. And guess what? You're also really dumb, and I don't like you, but you're gonna do what I say. And then you do it. And then on the other side, Biden's like losing his memory and exerting nepo forces that shouldn't exist. Like, what's this Hunter Biden gun thing? Like, fucking get it out of my face. First it was your laptop, now it's a gun. Get the fuck out of the arena. Get off the stage. And it was a laptop filled with pornography, but they want to act like that didn't happen. Okay. You know, you get all these things. It's like, I even did this in my research. Remember, I was doing my research. I was all pissed. I was talking about Biden. I was like, what the fuck is this? He was like pro climate change, like helping it, making it better. And then he went back and undid everything. And it was like, oh, now you guys want to drill here and you guys want to open this area
right.
to this influence.
I just saw a case.
Up.
It's so
we don't choose these things.
We don't.
Well, it's not even cooked. It's like they think it's an illusion because what they want you to think is that you're in a place that you're not. So the whole time you're like, man, I wish it was kind of like X, Y, and Z. Like my boy Donald Glover was on live talking about the beef between Kendrick and Drake, and he made a good point. And I know he's doing it to be facetious because I know he's involved. But whatever. He said, when I was younger, we all had stuff to like rally around, basically. Like we would have like cultural events. We would all be able to like have a good time together. But like the newest generations, mine downward, because I'm like the last year of millennial, we don't have fun things to do. We don't have good things to do. Like the most fun we've all had together since 2020 or earlier was Kendrick whooping Drake's ass in public. It was a fight.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? And I thought, thank you for saying that. I don't know when he posted this, but he did it recently because I hadn't seen it until today. It was like right before we started. And I was like, that's such a funny point. And he's like, you know, it's negative in some ways. And I'm sitting there like, no, I totally hear what you're saying. Like the person in my comments the other day who was like, euphoria kills the vibe. It's like, no, it's literally the whole vibe. And then Sean does what he does. And it's just like, nope, that's the vibe. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm saying too, is like, we don't make choices. Like Chester Bennington's my father. Sean Dowdell runs a band with his face on it. He hired a singer who had a career pretending to be my dad. He wants to make new music with this guy. And he's also partnering up for little tiny tours with people like Julian Kay, who were friends with Chester, and a Linkin Park cover band, because Linkin Park would never in their fucking right mind play with Grade A's. Period. And that's why we know he did it. And so, you know, for him to blow up like that is like, no, euphoria is the whole fucking vibe. And that brings me back to the government conversation. You're like, who? Nobody. I didn't choose Grade A's. I didn't choose the random email I got from Concord last March. I didn't choose my interactions with Sean. I mean, I did. I certainly did. That wasn't very hard though. You kind of just stand outside and he'll do something. But and then he'll erase it and pretend he didn't say nothing. But that's also what that is too, is like how many things in our culture, which is our mind, our mentality, and the way we apply it, how many of those pieces have been scattered and like erased and modified? Like how confident can you even be now that AI art exists that anything you see is real? How? Like for real. And that's not a fake stupid ass thing to say. There was a deep fake that was on the news. You remember that one? and it was like not a real person at all. It was like a month or two ago. There was something that happened. Somebody did like
there's
a test.
So many of those cases though, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I have. If you,
well, I mean, even when you track it back, it's like, okay, in 2017, literally days before Chester died, there was a death hoax. There was another one in 2014 within the same week that he joined the sex trafficking task force with the OCDA, or the Orange County District Attorney's Office. You see things like that and you're like, wait, but he's like a public figure. How did that happen? Mm-hmm. Why is there no record of that? But we have record, right? We have all these people who are so crazy. Everybody saw something, but nobody knows where it is now because they deleted it. You know, like this even goes back to, you said Black Lives Matter, and they do. It's like you go back to the whole situation and you watch the fucking white rioters who showed up, paid by the police, paid by the government, to literally go fuck up the entire thing, make it look like something else is going on. They tag civilian cars to go find people later. They're literally pulling up on people, bagging their heads, pulling them into cars. These officers don't have fucking numbers on their vests. They ain't got body cams. Nobody's accounted for. We find out that they're like paid mercenaries, or like they're paid from other groups. Like there was that. Oh, good job. There's that Sovereign group. G just came back. There's that Sovereign group that's like, they were part of the insurrection on and the switch
Proud
from
Boys?
Trump's presidency. Yeah, those are some of them. Yep. And these like little militias, you know, it's like, but then isn't that the point though? Is like you get people fixated. There's that word again. Fixated on something that they think about, and it can be anything from sex to food to TV shows to fucking thinking about perceptions. You can stem off of perceptions you think other people have. You can stem off perceiving. Okay. Like you get people who have challenge in understanding these things in the first place, get them filled with opinions, and then get them confused about what they're talking about, so that when they go talk to someone else, it just sounds like nonsense. And then the more that you align with that, the more that's attracted to that. The more you unalign with it or disalign with it, you don't align with it, the less you are interacting with it. But that community still exists. So then you get these pockets of people who think they know everything or think they know all about one thing. And then they're at war with another person who has a different perspective on the same thing. That's what they did with Black Lives Matter, right? They use absurdity to hide the very obvious fact that nothing is in our control and it doesn't matter. Yeah, all lives matter. Yeah, turn that shit around into, well, police do good things. Okay. Nobody said they don't. We're talking about all the killer cops.
We'll talk about the system, man. And it's like a lot of the times, like I hate the whole, well, they're good cops. I mean, yeah, they're good cops, but they're good soldiers too. That doesn't mean the cause that they serve is any more righteous or just. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I hate that talking point so much. It's very aggravating.
Yeah, and that's why they use it.
Yeah.
It's deflecting, it's blame shifting, right? It's like, hey, we are an affected people who want reconciliation for our troubles. And then they go, oh, really? Well, that's crazy because you're all insane. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you guys now have a bad record of burning everything that you touch and being angry and violent, which let's not act like there's a narrative around certain types of qualifying peoples. You know, yeah. Even with G, I fight with it all the time. You know, people like to do that whole like spicy Latina thing, or like, you know, say that they shouldn't express a certain way because it's aggravating or confrontational. It's like, bro, you're literally monopolizing expression because you don't want certain expressions to catch fire. That's why you don't want Josh and I getting together and building out true careers out of fucking talking to people. You don't want that, because the more we talk to people, the more connected we get, and the more people like understand what we're trying to say. That's been a wonderful thing to watch just in your career, but also I know that for myself, just like in my trajectory. So, no, it's absurdity. They use absurdity as a tool for their own devices, and they prey on the carefully curated lack of knowledge or fixation that individual or group has on a thing in the first place. Like the exclusionary practices I was talking about. It's like, yeah, why are the Ku Klux Klan allowed to fucking burn crosses? But when Tyree Nichols gets beat to death, it's like not that big of a deal, and fucking Biden can stand up there and talk to his parents like that. Holy if I was in that crowd, I'd get up and say some fucking they don't have people like me in the crowd. They don't have that shit. They don't.
Or they do, and then they get security to beat your ass or throw you out.
There you go. They cut the mic. Yeah, they're like, they got quadrants. They're like, hey, we got someone talking shit in the left 13. Turn it off. Get his ass. Get him out of here. And then they act like it never happened. But it did, which is why I was encouraging people to look at Sean Dowdell's messages the other day, because he likes to delete the things that he says to people and act like they didn't happen, and then use that as a justification to tell them that they aren't shit. They aren't worth $2,000. And they ain't ever going to be. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, we were talking about people coming up to you, asking you for the N-word pass. Yes, and my history with that, and then Black Lives Matter and the situation we're in with the 25 development. So you were saying that we're trying to literally revert us back to like policy that hasn't even been around for a century. Like, I mean, it was available before that, but like our new policies haven't been around for a century.
They're trying. I just saw Supreme Court just passed the law saying that it's not a violation to ban homelessness. Are you fucking kidding me?
How do you ban homelessness?
The fuck, this country.
What? I've been homeless in the last 7 years, multiple times.
How do you? No, you can ban homeless people from sleeping outside, and if they do it, you could arrest them. Yeah. That's nice.
So what? Then they go to the jail, and then what happens when they get through intake? Do they get charges?
Free labor.
Yeah. What do? They go to prison.
They go to prison. Yeah.
They go to prison.
Yeah.
That's what happens. They can arrest them and take them to prison.
I'm pretty sure they can. They'll find a rule to make it happen.
Well, I mean, it's not like they haven't been doing it.
Yeah.
They clean out Skid Row like how often? That's an LA thing. But I've seen it myself, like when they come through with like the bulldozers and shit, and they're like, we got to scrub the street. We got a lot of slime on it. And it's like, bro, you just made all these people homeless, called them criminals, got them hooked on drugs. They can't go anywhere, do anything, be anything, say anything, feel anything, think anything. They have nowhere to go except for to die or wither away. They've all suffered death. They've all suffered loss. They've all suffered. And then what? You're going to take them to prison? So what? You could do more MK Ultra on them? Okay. Because that worked great with Charlie Manson. I'm sure that's not still present. That's crazy, bro. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I know that police are averse to homelessness, even though they protect the community. They are averse. I think that's the right word. To
ban a homeless, and that blows my mind. Does not violate Constitution.
Oh yeah, because you know why? America is not a place where you're meant to achieve your greatest potential. It's where you are meant to achieve your greatest opportunity. This is a 13 colony agreement on taxation, merchandise, commerce, building a product. It's not the land of the home or land of the free and home of the brave. It's land of the opportunity and home of those who take advantage of it. And by advantage, I mean making homelessness illegal. Maybe you should make rent viable. Maybe you should make low income housing livable. Maybe you should stop banning contraception so we can get better sex practices and better education practices and better blah 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 blah. Y'all already heard it. And thank you for bringing that up, Josh. I'm not current right now on certain things, so that was a good thing to be brought up to speed on.
It's so disappointing, man.
I have to look into that now.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take a moment of silence for the ones lost.
That's crazy.
Look at you, clean, pretty baby. Guess who came to say hi? Hi. She's all clean, guys. She's still shedding, though. That's crazy. Hi, did you enjoy yourself? We were just talking about the way that the American government steals our souls and bonds us to eternal damnation in the most unchristian way possible.
Lord,
okay,
man.
Anyways. Sorry. So, like I said, we have a lot of life to talk about.
There's a lot.
We have a lot of pain that's easily accessible. And look how easy we got into it. It's only been an hour and 45.
Yeah.
So we met, and then we had a period of time where we had our differences because I had to grapple with a few things, some of which I've described, some of which you've described. And then finally I got over it. I think I got over it. I think I ghosted you, to be honest.
Yes.
I think at one point you were just talking to me and I was like, I can't tell him no Linkin Park one more time. Because I would tell you that. I'd be like, hey, Josh, we could talk about us. And you'd be like, yeah, I love this. I'm like, yeah, that's great. But like, it was such a, and I feel kind of, I do feel bad about the way that I treated you back then for that, because, with all the context, you really just needed a big hug. Like that's really that was what you were doing right there. It was like, you were stemming for it. You were like, yeah, it's really nice to know you. Please help me. Oh,
That's
yeah, no, I was
basically-
working on something. That's great. Yeah. So talk to me. It's like, Josh, we are talking. We're talking right now. And that was such a fun thing to kind of roll out, because we had to literally learn how to talk to each other without ever seeing each other, which is really strange. And I feel like it was interesting to meet you at the time that I did, because you gave me a lot of perspective on, I guess, online relationships, because I don't have a lot of those, or I didn't. I'm now a part of a Discord community because I see the value in it, because I've had like a relationship with people like you, where I'm like, oh, I could see why that would be helpful. Like before, it's like, if you don't have the experience, it's kind of hard to see yourself in something beyond that. And like how long it took me to just make a playlist with your video in it so they could go to your channel instead of mine. Same thing. And it's just learning and becoming aware. But I learned a lot about that through you, because we don't get to see each other outside of the conversation. I know you pretty well now. Like I got a pretty good gauge of like your body language and stuff. Even when you're talking like over the phone, I could still hear your movements and whatnot, but like, or see them, but like, I've never actually seen you. I've never actually met you. I've never physically been in the same space as you. It'll be really soon, but it's just like such a weird thing to think about. Like we have an entirely virtual relationship that is more meaningful than almost all of the physical relationships I've had here. It's wild. Like one of my best friends of the last 7 years has been someone I've never met, and has been someone stronger, truer than like any of the people I came with. That's wild. And so with that being said, we kind of started our virtual relationship, which at first I was just trying to get you to talk about literally anything else, but it wasn't out of a desire to shut it down. It was out of a desire to understand more about you and why you were talking about your time out, why you were interacting the way you were interacting. Because like I said, I had that kind of bird's eye view of like, oh, this guy's going to be around for a bit. Like he's going to need that community or that friendship. I didn't realize what you were going through at the time, like in terms of dealing with high school and losing friends. And that's something we actually ended up bonding on quite a bit. I think that might have been like one of the first things that we actually connected on, was like, eventually you just started talking about your life. Like, oh yeah, I have these friends and this is going on. And I'm really frustrated about this thing. And then, cause I think at first people aren't really sure how to take my transparency. Like I literally meant, tell me everything. I literally meant like, I'm here for you. Like actually. And that was so unheard of. Like you're one of the few people that actually bite on that. And this is actually an example of what that relationship could have looked like for all those other people. Because I gave every one of those people my number and my email. I said, text me. I text some of those people about their anxieties, about their problems that they're going through, the things that they're facing. And they immediately clam up and shut up and go away, which is part of why I had to combat the ghosting energy that I gave you, because I was like, it was one of those things where I was like, like I said, when I was in Newport, like I hear my family talking this way, interacting this way about things they have no qualification for, in particular, the pass, right? And they were not granted it, and they never should have been. And it was a thing that I knew I either was going to end up eating because it was in front of me, because that's what happens. If you don't choose what's in front of you, it will choose you, because that's how reality works. It kind of just keeps rolling, whether you want to roll or not. And, I think stepping in with you about the ghosting behavior that I had picked up from other people and was using to shield myself or camouflage myself in a certain way, to prevent myself from taking those genuine like steps forward with somebody. I had to choose, like, am I going to eat that, or am I going to step up? And that was a question that seemed to like plague the last 7 years was, okay, now you reached a level. So are you going to stop here, or are you going to buck up and keep going? And it's like, well, the reason I wouldn't go is because I'm traumatized in a certain way, or I don't believe a certain thing will happen. So if the only way to change that is to do it, then do it. And I remember just like very slowly getting to know you on a serious note. Like all of a sudden we were talking about your real life in a pretty vast way. And you could talk more about that, but then it did end up in meditation. I think that's like the clearest run right there. It's just like we had a period where we got to know each other and we started learning each other. And then by the time that happened, it was like, I'm nervous. I have anxiety. I am fixated. I'm literally dying inside, and I need to fix this. I'm so overstimulated and overwhelmed. And I was literally going through the same thing. And I was developing tools for it. And I was like, hey, do you want to try? And you were like I did with so many people, including my mother, Elka. I was like, hey, you want to try? And you were the only one to be like, I don't know, dude. I don't even believe in like anything you're saying, like at all, but I'll do it. Like I talk about meditation, you'd be like, yep, don't see it. I'll talk about like just like energy theory, be like, yep, well, that's great. Yeah, well, yeah, love God. I'm like, okay, I got you. Yeah. But you also had, I would say, real quick, just I'll end it here because I think this is a good jumping off point. It's just that, with that being said, you also come from like, we both do, from Christian backgrounds. And so a lot of the things that I was proposing were things that just even in terms of the religion
like
are things that are like, don't fucking talk to me about that. Don't bring that up. Why the hell are you talking about non-duality? Like, and I like that now you seem to find, you say you would say you're still Christian, right?
Yeah, I'm still a religious guy. Yeah, I still pray.
Or at least you recognize like a God. Is that correct? Oh wait, when I said that it froze.
Oh, no.
Hold on.
You can still see me?
That whole thing just froze right when I talked to you about that.
Oh no.
You're freezing right now as I'm talking to you about talking about it.
Damn. Really? Hold on.
Yeah. Well, try again. What was your consensus on that? I don't want to say it for you. I don't want to like say anything you don't agree with about yourself.
No, I was saying, yeah, I'm still a pretty religious guy. I still hold space for that. Yeah. I hold space for both what you talk about and that as well.
Well, we often come back to the same thing, which is that they're often the same thing.
Yes. Like
a lot of the things that you would say would be like your acknowledgement of God, or things that I would say are my acknowledgement of like meditation and self and all that. I wouldn't say they always overlap, but I would say more often than not, we do seem to come to a common ground, which I think is pretty beautiful. Like you can still take me seriously and still see what you see and feel what you feel. You know what I mean? And that's really cool. But with that being said, what are your memories that you'd like to share about that period? Because that is, that was kind of a rough time. Like just the energy was just harsh. Real quick, I got to pee so bad, and I thought I already got this out, but I'm like literally leaking. So I'll be right back.
Okay, hold on.
I'm happy you're back. I'm so happy you're back. Oh yeah. I love this guy. Are you there? Where did he go? I hear him moving. You're licking my finger? That's bizarre. You really missed me? It's okay. I'm happy you're back. Hey Josh, how much time do you have left? Oh, snack time. Oh, snack time. I love that for you. What are you eating?
I mean, spicy chicken. It's really spicy.
I love that for you. That sounds
Shut
awesome.
My mouth is on fire. On
Good.
fire.
Are you gonna spit fire too?
Jamie,
How about you?
Jamie?
What? Yeah.
We're gonna do a part 2.
Okay.
We're gonna do a part 2, my boy.
Okay. I was just gonna ask. I was asking you. I didn't know if you could hear me or not, but how much time?
Oh, what'd you say, buddy?
What time do you have left?
I won't be done by 4:30.
Well, what time is it?
It's 4:27, bro.
Oh fuck. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We could do a second part. Just that's what we'll leave off.
Yeah, let's do that. Because I'm really enjoying this. We're going to a lot of places.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so better. Oh, I should have had it like this. This is my friend's brand. Fuck, I hate that it's Sequoia. It's dedicated to his mother who passed. And he's a phenomenal fashion designer. I love him. Yeah.
Well, how about next time you wear him?
I got
for the part 2. And then for part 2, we just start off there, like knowing that we had that period of growth. And then by the time we got to meditation and through it, you went through a lot of stuff. So this is an opportunity to kind of just walk through what you want to walk through. And I think that'd be a good jumping off point. Yeah, we'll just start there next time. This was fun.
For sure.
And this is basically what it is. It's like just me hanging out with my friends and getting to know them, and then this is the whole thing. It's just literally Jamie hanging out with people.
That's it. I'm excited to see where you take this.
Yeah.
I really am.
I won't put yours out until we do the second part. I'll edit it all into one. Yeah, just so that.
Oh,
that's
dude, that's so
picture.
cool.
Yeah.
I wonder what people think of me. What the fuck? I wonder if people fuck with me. We're gonna find out. You ever just be like, damn, am I bothering this person? It's okay.
Yeah, like all the time. I don't think that shit anymore. I just bother them.
Yeah.
But that's just because of the skin I had to make. So don't feel the need to meet the standard.
All right, man. Well, I'm so excited to continue. I'm really excited, and thank you for inviting me. I'm about to go eat chicken, and I hope I was entertaining or good. But
you were you, and that's all that I needed.
For sure. Don't want to give you a bad interview like that other one guy gave me. Lord have mercy.
Nah, you couldn't. It's impossible.
Did you ever watch that?
I didn't get to yet. No, literally as soon as I got it, like life just exploded. And
yeah,
I
don't know if you want to see it or not, but my friend asked me for it.
I'm gonna watch it. I'll watch it today. I'll watch it in between, before the community meditation.
Oh boy, 40 minutes of ass! I'm so excited for you. Yeah. Boy, my hair! Oh my god, got a fat ass forehead, dude. It's just because my hair is. Yeah, I'm scared I'm gonna go bald, dude, and I hate that.
I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm going bald. You're fine.
All right, man. Now I'm gonna go eat. I'm a hungry boy. Okay. So I appreciate you. Sayonara. I love you. We'll talk soon.
Until next time.
We'll schedule this one again. You want to do it next week? You want to do part 2 next week?
I will do it whenever you want to do it.
Okay,
I'll do it tomorrow.
All right, we're gonna do this. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Bye, bud.
Cool. Have fun.
You too.
Bye.